pocket chicken?
Hey, ain't no other way.
Jay is a man of many talents.
He's kind, but thank you.
He's sitting over here producing a song.
I like it.
Oh, I want to hear it when you're done.
Will do.
My wife and kids will tell you that I am a man who can come up with any lyrics at any time. Now, they don't really appreciate that, but I think it's pretty cool. So
He's a composer and a lyricist.
I don't I don't like to sing in public. You wouldn't want that, but I love to sing. That's part of why anyway, I love my church.
I will tell you that Trisha can sing really, really well, and her daughters take after her as well.
He's too kind. I sound like a toad sometimes.
Not at all.
Well, you know that verse about God inhabits the praises of his people? That is so true. I love it.
Well, good morning. Kim is with us now, so all is good.
I am so sorry. I've been stuck by train and traffic and my sister on the phone and trying to get ready for your party. So I just had all kinds of things.
It is a very busy time for everybody. I know we've got some folks that will not be able to be with us today because of extra busy work and or holiday things, but Sharon has said that she will make sure this is available because this will be a very important training today. So I will just jump in and invite the Lord to be with us, and then we can get started. And I see that we are recording, so that's a good thing. Lord in heaven, we thank you for another beautiful day, a day of your patience with us, a day of your love for us, a day that you created. And Father, we just ask that you'll bless our time together, that it will honor you, and that what we learn, we can be fruitful and good stewards of and be a blessing to others, including those who are less fortunate, who are in need. And Lord God, just help us all to have great wisdom and discernment as we go into a new year, that we can provide well for our families, but also as we're working, as we're laboring, that people see something in us that represents your Son while we're doing it, Father. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Before I introduce Jennifer, who really needs no introduction for us, but Sharon or Kim, anything y'all want to touch on real quick?
Goals are very, very important. I do not know how people operate or are successful without having a goal set for the future. I usually take a little bit of time off, and during the time off, whether I'm there for fun or not for fun, that's usually what I'm focused on. What are the next 3 months? What are my goals? And then work and set things in place to attain them. So we're excited to have a goal setting class. And I'm interested to hear what she has to say. Thank you for hosting our class this morning.
Yeah, very good.
Sharon,
I would just,
you want to hit us with?
I just wanted to say, I haven't always been the best example on real estate goals. Kim, I want to emulate. And Bruce, you also, and Jesus, of course. But, having your eyes on the prize, the goal, whether you miss it or make it, just to have something to aim for, to shoot for. The last name Archer is just beautiful, like to shoot for the target. So to have something to aim for and work towards it is that's what we need.
Well, I'll just add to that and say that, the last 8 years when I was in public service, unfortunately, I was great at coming up with goals for the city, Mesquite, but I wasn't so great at coming up with goals for my business because oftentimes I was juggling everything at the same time. But I will say that this last year, as Kim kind of said, I took some time alone at the office for several days, just by myself for hours, just going over goal after goal and really preparing heavily for 22. And it's the first time I really had consciously and intentionally set up a sales goal and some other goals for my team. And I can say that by the grace of God, a lot of hard work, and because again that intentional planning time, I met my sales goal this year, and a few other things. And I think a lot of that had to do with that planning early on. And so I'll just jump in and say, most of you know I've known Jennifer since she was a teenager. Her family came into CC's Pizza when I was a manager there many, many years ago, when they had first planted a church right next door to CC's where I worked. And over the years, great friendships. And later her dad joined me and served with me on the city council. And then he actually was my successor when I stepped down as mayor. So he's now the mayor of Mesquite. But Jennifer has also professionally been a blessing, helped many, many of my clients. I'm sure a lot of your clients. And her customer service is first rate, but she's also helped me and people on my team many times with sitting down and going over a goal preparation and other things to help your social media. So she's a tremendous asset to all of us. So with that, Jennifer, take it away. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. I love the goal setting. Christy, who's on here, if you guys see in the green shirt, blonde hair, beautiful. She is my right hand, and she was at y'all's party this week. So I apologize I wasn't able to make it. I had my cousin got married the exact same time. She'd been planning for 2 years. And so Christy filled in for me.
Christy was so much fun. We didn't even know she weren't there, Jennifer.
That's good.
They had us do a puzzle at our table, and I was with Bruce and Christy, and we had spilt a tea glass earlier. So it was like when we were trying to do the puzzle, the middle of the table was still damp. So we'd be like trying to pick our puzzle pieces back up.
That's funny.
But we were the second best table to get it finished next. By Bruce.
Awesome. That is awesome. All right. So goal setting is near and dear to my heart. And my boss actually set this in me. Now, I always remember my dad always, right before the new year would hit, he'd ask me to put together 10 goals for the year that I wanted to do. And I don't know if anybody has my personality type, but it drives me crazy when I don't finish something. And so going into another year with new goals, knowing that I didn't finish the previous year's goals always drove me crazy. But I had to really accept in myself that this is a fresh year, a clean slate. Every year is a clean slate. And if I didn't reach my weight goal or whatever it is, it's okay. I don't have to finish it. So if anybody has my personality like that, if you didn't reach them, it is okay. Let's just reset them and re-get to where we need to be. Let me show you guys. And also what Kim said and Bruce said about, setting a time where you can actually, can y'all see this?
Well, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Where y'all can actually get these goals onto paper, pen to paper, I think is so important. I mean, the day gets so crazy for all of us, and it flies. And so I just think that having a day where you can just get it out, and I feel like it can get emotional too, as far as what you want to lay out, right? And the first slide I have in here is I strongly believe that you got to go personal first before you go business. And so I wanted to touch on that real quick. And I'm going to lay everything like how to do, right? But if you guys want to, if you want to have a personal meeting with me one-on-one on Zoom, we can go over these together and I can help give you ideas, because our plans is like a fingerprint. We're all going to be different. And so if you just want somebody to kind of sit and go through and guide with you guys, and you guys, lay it out, I'm totally happy to do that. It takes, me and Bruce did this in probably a little less than 2 hours, and got it all hammered out, and he met his goals, which I'm so dang proud of that. But I do feel that the personal is super important, and boundaries. Now, I lay out boundaries, and Bruce knows that I talk about this, and I really had to do this for myself, because in our business, we are not a 9-to-5 job, and we have clients and other realtors who don't mind boundaries, that don't mind texting at 10 o'clock at night. And you may have a spouse, you may have kids, or you just cherish your own personal time, right? And I think it's just super important, because things can get so blurred. And we can really, really hurt a relationship in our life by allowing it to take over, And so when I learned this, I got married late in life. A lot of you guys know that. I was not in my 20s. I was in my mid 30s when I got married. And so I already had this path of no boundaries. I didn't mind working at the office till 10 o'clock at night. And when I got married, I had to learn really quickly that was not going to work out well. And he was very irritated when I was texting in bed at 10 o'clock at night or whatever. But I always had in my mind, oh gosh, they're going to love me if I am going to reply to their email at midnight or whatever. And truly, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. People don't email us or text us with the expectation that we're going to do it right that moment if it's at 10 o'clock at night. They realize it's 10 o'clock at night. It will probably be the next day. People are just emailing out or whatever when they're thinking about it at the moment, not thinking, oh, they need to reply to me tonight or I'm not going to work with them. So there were certain things like that I had to realize. So every year since I got married, I had to start making boundaries. And I just choose one boundary a year and I embrace it and I do my darndest. I'm not perfect. I do my darndest to do it. And I was going to share with you guys a couple of examples because I just think it's so important. One guy that I talked to that does boundaries as well, he made it a point. There's a stop sign on his way home. And at the moment he would walk into the house talking on the phone to a client. He had little kids in the house. They're like, Daddy, hey, look what I did at school. He's still on the phone, telling them to be quiet, hush, Daddy's still on the phone. And they're so excited to see him. And he realized, I have to stop doing this. So he made a mental boundary of a stop sign next to his home that as soon as he saw that stop sign, he knew he needed to be wrapping up that call and be done, because the time with his kids and walking into his home and acknowledging his kids was way more important than that phone call that probably didn't even matter, right? And my additional short story is when I was getting married, I had gathered together my bridesmaids, my mom, my sister, everybody was together to watch me do the dress fitting and pick out my wedding dress. And there was a closing going on that day. And instead of letting the people who are in place to handle those things, the team, I sat there and texted on my phone the entire time to answer questions while I was putting on a wedding dress, replying to emails, all of those things. And I had friends actually talk to me about it afterwards and tell me, like, that was not cool. We all separated our time to be with you during this time. And you were acting like you were busier than anybody. And you didn't even remember. I truly don't even remember all the dresses I tried on. And it was terrible. So I know that not everybody's in that place of life, but there's something that could be in your life that you're having a hard time setting this boundary with, right? And I get it. We all have to work. We've all got to do some sacrifices. And sometimes we tell our family, hey, you want this life of, this extra income or whatever, you got to be okay with it. And there are some instances like that where I got to talk to my husband about it, but I do have to have some real life boundaries to make sure that my family life stays the way it is, right? Stays complete. My husband doesn't want to leave me, or my kiddo is, has resentment later on in life. So one of the boundaries that I set the first year is I put do not disturb on my phone from 8 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. So every night, so I don't get a ding, I don't get a vibrate, I don't get anything if it's from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock. iPhone is really easy to set this up. And the thing is it still tells you when you miss the call or the message, it just doesn't alert you. Nothing goes off on your phone if you set those do not disturb messages. So I did that. That was 1 year. 1 year, I removed work email completely from my phone. People don't realize it, but I do not have work email on my phone, and I haven't had it on there for about 5 years. And nobody knows the difference, right? I just intentionally set my out of office on. And if I see, and the thing is if people have an emergency and absolutely need you right that second, how do they reach you? Your cell phone. They're going to call my cell phone. Every realtor knows my cell phone number. If they really, really need me, they're going to call my cell phone number, and they're not going to sit around for me to get to an email, right? Nobody expects that anymore. So that was one thing that I did. And that was a lifesaver. That was amazing, because all these fluff emails come through all the time. And I'm like, oh, I got to respond to it. So when I get into the office, all these emails are cleared out, and it doesn't matter. I can take a quick 15 minutes to clear out my emails when I walk in. Another goal that I had was working from home on Fridays. Now, COVID gave me that goal real fast. I work from home almost every day. But I calculated out how many hours of time it would save me if I worked from home one day a week. And it saved me 65 hours a year from driving. So that calculated to me of an entire week and a half of vacation time, not really giving me more vacation time, but it gave me that additional time with my husband or daughter that I was already home, or I could actually have dinner ready for him when he got home or whatever. Another year, so this was before the work from home, leaving work on Fridays at 4 p.m. I do that now. I stop working. And this was another thing I did. No longer drinking alcohol at realtor events or realtor happy hours. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't drink at all, but me and my husband do enjoy it. And I really had to get in my brain that nobody's going to love me more if I have a drink with them at a happy hour or a realtor event. And it became stupid for me because the only person that I really enjoy a glass of wine with is my husband or really, really close friends. And I don't want to ever impair the way that I'm thinking when I'm talking to business partners. And I never want to ever think, oh my gosh, what did I say to them? I hope I didn't say anything stupid. And the thing that triggered this in me was an event. It was an event where the title company, all these people put together where they got a bus to drive somewhere at, I don't remember for the holidays or not, but one of the realtors got really inappropriate on the bus with an inspector, and he had a family at home. And I was thinking to myself, it was all generated by drinking, right? Because all your inhibitions are out the window at that moment. And I'm like, there is not one person in my industry that I would ever want to risk something to mess up my family. It's not worth it. I'd walk away from this business in 2 seconds if it meant this or my family. So that's another. And I know I'm taking time on this boundaries thing, but I just think it's important, right? So that was another year. I don't drink at realtor events or realtor happy hours anymore. I mean, the realtor world is really heavily around drinking, and I don't want to participate in it. I will go all day long. I will network all day long, but you're not going to catch me drinking at all. And then a social media detox. I picked one day a week where I was like, I'm going to be as little on social media as I possibly can. And that's Thursdays for me. Now, I've got regular videos that go out that I've already pre-recorded and I'll post them. But Thursday is my day that I do as little social media as I possibly can, because my husband does not do social media, but I'm sitting at home when we're supposed to be watching a movie, scrolling through whatever, and it irritates him. It irritates the daylights out of him. So I just say all this to say, pick a boundary this year, just one that if it's, that is either for you personally, for your kids, for your spouse, that you can do something different this year and just make that whatever time you're saving, it's for them. Right. So that's that. So let's go into personal. I do feel like we should be making personal goals as well. And I wanted to give you guys the categories that I do this on. And I lay out my current status of that category and what my goal is for that category during the year. So relationship with God. So if you don't go to church at all and you feel like it's important to you, make it a goal. And if it's so stretched out, I think it's a great goal to say, I'm going to go to church one day a month. If you haven't been to church in 2 years, one day a month, that's a great goal, right? Don't be setting your goals that I'm going to go to church every Wednesday and every Sunday if you haven't done it in 2 years, because make it realistic, I guess. Family, a goal for family, where you're at right now and where you want to be, whether it's a date night with your spouse once a month or, whatever it is. Education, self-improvements, or extra projects. I lay out in this section books that I want to read this year. If it's one book a month I want to read or whatever, I do whatever I want to do to educate myself or do some self-improvements. Even if it's learning more about a certain category in our business, such as I need to learn more about condos this year, or I need to learn more about double wides this year. That is my goal. This is my plan to learn more. These are the classes I'm going to attend. Working career, finances, is there debt that you need to pay off? Laying out, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to do. I need to set aside and save my $1,000 emergency fund for an emergency this year. Health, of course, losing weight, working out, whatever it is. Get with Jay on that. I'm not the expert, but it is that I think that that's an important one. And that's another one I need to embrace this coming year because I have failed at it so much. I need to embrace this one. And I need to embrace the relationship with God, going to church one. Those are two that are really my huge focuses. I feel like the other ones I keep up with, what I need to do, but those are mine. Travel. I lay out goals for travel is important to me. I love to travel. It's one of my favorite things. What's your favorite thing? Make goals around it. There is nothing wrong with it. It's fun. It's fun. Like my goal this year is to take Daniela to Disney World. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. How am I going to get to that? So I lay out my current status, lay out what the goals are going to be. So that's
you're going to put it on the calendar and you're going to go and turn the phone off and let somebody else deal with your stuff.
Exactly. It needs to be that detailed too. Of Christy's going to have my phone for these 5 days. I think Christy, if you're on here, I know you'd die if I gave you my phone for 5 days, but you guys know you guys know where I'm going with this. All right. So let's go into the business side of it. Knowing your numbers. To me, it is all about numbers. If this activity, if X activity gives you 2 clients and it gives you 2 clients every time you do it and you want 4 clients, then you need to do that activity 2 times, right? It's all about the numbers. You will never, ever, ever reach your goal if you only think that if you just really do this more this year, you're going to reach your goal. Meaning like if I have extra great customer service this year, I'll hit my goal. No, we got to have our numbers. We got to have numbers laid out, right? And knowing what that is. So one of the things that I encourage you guys to do is to look back at what you closed last year. Because I think knowing that number is a really, really important thing. So let's say that you closed, and I'm going to write this down so that I don't forget. So let's say you closed $5 million in business last year. Okay. So, and let's also say that the average sales price that you did was $300,000. Okay. So that tells me if that's the average that there was about, let's say 17 deals done in 2022. Okay. So 17 deals done in 2022. And I know I did about 5 million last year. My question is, what is this year's goal? So if last year was 5 million, is this year's goal 6 million? Is it 7 million? And looking at, so let's pretend, and again, I'm doing examples for you guys for now, but if you want to get into the nitty gritty together, I'm happy to. So let's say that this person's goal is 7 million this year. And we know that my average sales price is 300,000. Then that tells me that this person wants to do 23 deals this year. So from 17 deals for the year to 23 deals for the year. I feel like that's fair, right? If they were already doing 17. So we're backing into this even further. Let me see what my next slide. Yeah, backing into this even further. So you need to know how many people a day you need to talk to hit 23 deals for the year, okay? So if we back into this, 23 deals for the year is, let's say, an average of about 2 deals a month, okay? So we know we want to do 2 deals a month, which is really 1 deal every 2 weeks, about. Now, if we were to estimate, and this is going back into your numbers, how many good pre-quals, and I use the term pre-quals because it needs to be somebody that qualifies for their loan or has the cash. So how many good, ready to go clients do you need to even hit 1 closing? So let's say, because we know that we could have 10 great clients that have their money, they have their money saved up, they have their credit in order, but they never find their house, or something happens in their life and they don't purchase, or they're tire kickers, or whatever it is. So let's say that it takes 10 good clients to get to 1 closing. So that tells me if I want to close 2 deals a year, that I need 20 good clients a month. Now, 20 good clients a month I'm going to back into it even further, because every person you talk to is not a good, ready to go client. It may take, let's say it takes 5 leads to get to 1 good client. Is that fair? So if I need 20 good client and it takes me 5 leads to find 1, then that tells me that we need to talk to 100 people a month. So I'm going to back it up even further. So if each month, okay, I'm going to divide, each month has about 4.33 weeks a year, okay? Each month, 4.33 weeks in 1 month. And we need to talk to 100. Now, 4.33 weeks, let's just talk that we're working 5 days a week, whether that includes Saturday or Sunday for you or not, whatever. But let's say you're going to work 5 days a week. So that's 21 days. We're going to call it 22 days a year. I need to talk to 100 people a month. So 100 people a month divided by 22 days a year means that every day I need to be having conversations with 4.5 people a day. So we're going to call it 5. We're going to round up because more is better. So 5 leads a day is what you would want to talk to if these numbers are accurate with how you find your business to close 23 deals in a year, 5 people a day. Knowing that number makes it way more achievable, in my opinion, right? Whether it's, if it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you've talked to 1 person that day, then I know I need to get on the phone to past clients and see how they're doing and see, and maybe make a video. Let me make a video today. Let me post some more stuff today because I got to talk to 5 different people, 5 different leads, and let's see who comments on this video that I do. And maybe those people, there might be somebody in there whose kiddo is looking to purchase, but they don't know where to get started. That's a lead. That is 1000% a lead. So
I want to just interrupt, but affirm what you're saying. I think that's really important. I think we may sometimes find ourselves in a situation where we just got busy doing life things or work things that maybe we were processing work, but we weren't able to be talking to people. And let's say it's 4:00, we planned on working until 5 or 5:30. Well, if we don't have a phone number on our desk of who we ought to call next, like you said, we can go back and take 30 minutes to, reach out to 20 past clients with a Facebook message or a text, just to personalize. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you're doing well. We can, like you said, we can make a video. There's something we can do productive that gets our name out there to potential clients versus, well, I didn't get that done today, so there's just nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So y'all see how I'm backing into these numbers, right? And if you keep track, like I'm super crazy on the team where I keep track of every lead that comes in. Their name and number goes on the list for me. And I know exactly how many of those I need a day to hit my goal. And so if you are going, and then when I look at how many closings I've had for the year, I back in to know what my average is of how many people I need to talk to hit my numbers. So that's how I find my number. But let's say that it's 5 people a day that you need to talk to. All right. So when we look at our numbers and we look at what we've been doing for this past year, I think it's important to lay out what you've been doing and what has worked that you love doing, whether it's social media, whether it's doing tours with videos, whether it's doing a client appreciation event, whether it's just stuff that you have absolutely loved doing that you don't want to stop doing. But I also think it's important to know what has worked for you that you absolutely hate doing. For instance, do you absolutely hate doing cold calling to expireds? If you do, life's too short to do what you hate doing. Let's find what you love to do, What isn't working? And then also knowing what isn't working at all. I mean, I think that sometimes we can get a part of groups. And I mean like a PTA, a chamber, or this or that. And you love doing it, but it's not giving you any business. And that's okay. It's okay, but you got to acknowledge it so that you can figure out what does work to grow your business, because this is truly all this is about, is us making money. I mean, and reaching these goals. So I would love for you guys, as y'all are making this information, look back at your year. What did you love? What did you hate? And just what didn't work? What's not working? Whether you love it or don't love it, acknowledging those things. All right. Now, this is where, so I'm telling you, five people a day, 5 leads a day is what's going to get you what you need to get. And you can't base it on, I need 5 deals. I'm going to go make a quick video and I'll get all 5 deals. It won't work that way every time, right? I mean, could it happen? Yes, it won't work that way every time. And so it's important to get into habits, good habits, so that it comes in. It just comes in naturally with whatever you're doing. But I would love for you guys to also next lay out what your pillars of business are, of where business is coming from. So some people have 2 pillars of business. I actually was talking to somebody yesterday. Their pillars of businesses too. They get leads from Zillow and they're repeat clients. That's it. That's where their business comes from. And that's okay. Is your pillars 3? Is your pillars 4? So pillars is, and that this is going to be where this business comes from, that we need to then hone in to see, okay, if past clients is a pillar of business where your business is coming from, what can we do deeper with these past clients so that they're seeing your face more, hearing from you more, because obviously your past client is a bank that has some things to give. So we got to hone in on that more. So my examples of your pillars is going to be social media, maybe your chamber of commerce, maybe family and friends. That's a big pillar of business for me. Past clients, that's another one of my pillars of business. A previous employer, if your previous life, you were a teacher or whatever it is, could we hone into that? And if you were somebody that was well loved, let's hone into that to make sure that they know what you do now, because that could be an absolute pillar of business. Or just a niche in general that everybody knows you do, whether it's first-time home buyers or whether it's helping them with the elderly stage, right? The elderly stage of people that maybe you just have a huge fear of that. And when they head towards retirement, they contact you. You're the one that so many of them contact to sell their home or their kids. We can hone into that all day long for sure. So choose the ones that is your pillar of business where you know business is coming from. That way we have it organized and laid out. All right, I know I need 5 people a day. This is where these are the 3 places the majority of my business comes from. Now what? Our plan needs to focus around this.
Jennifer, I want to chime in just for a second. The company spent a lot of money. We mentioned this at the party, but the company spent a lot of money making sure we had the best of the best in CRMs. I'm not seeing people utilizing it. I utilized it myself. I can't teach you unless I've done it myself. I can't take you to my level unless I've already achieved it. I used it myself at Thanksgiving. It was my email going ding, 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 ding. Those are the ones that responded to. So when is the last time you talked to your first client?
That's a great question.
That's why if we use the CRM, we will constantly be a face in front of them. We will constantly see our name, whether we're doing business with them, we're doing business with their kids or grandkids or their cousin Tommy down the street. That's why we have a CRM. It's very, very important. I don't want to sound like a grouch, but we went to weeks and weeks up on nearly about 2 months of killing ourselves trying to get the best of the best, and I'm not seeing it being utilized, and it needs to go into action. It will be game changing for you in the future.
Agreed.
So that's all I'm going to say.
Well, they say that you have to remind people what you do for a living every 7 days, or they forget. And we all of us have pulled up our Facebook and saw that somebody bought a house, and it irritates the daylights out of you, makes you so mad. Like, they know I'm a realtor. Well, they may not remember that, right? And so it's important that whether it's by email in your CRM or whatever it is, that these people are getting to see. And we can come up with so many different reasons to get an email out in front of the CRM, in the CRM, but the CRM is going to produce probably a lot of stuff for you. I don't know about y'all's, but also if it has, I'm sure it has an option where you can create information to sending out a home maintenance checklist once a month. That's a once a month
A
thing.
recipe.
Huh?
A recipe.
A recipe, whatever it is. I mean, homestead exemption. Right now, you know what I'm doing? I send it. So every year in January, we send out the homestead exemption letter. I know it doesn't have to be January anytime, but this time, I mean, this now that they've changed things, but we're still going to send it in January. But currently, because it's slow, we all need to acknowledge that it's slow. I'm reaching out to, I've made my lists of every single past client, and I went back 5 years of who never filed for their homestead that should have. And then reaching out to all of them, personal phone call from me to say, hey, I noticed this. This is going to save you approximately this much money a month. And the county will go back 2 years. So you'll get a check back. Do this. What can I do to help you? And the conversations have been so good. They love talking to me. And it's been kind of fun to do that. Put that in your list. If you've got a list of some clients, I mean, if you've got a team or assistants, have them search it out on the CAD. It's so easy to search out. And then you've got your list of people that you've got to call. What a fun, great phone call. And that's one of the things this year that I'm doing with past clients. So if you have your 3 pillars, we've worked out your numbers, and you know how many leads you need. What do we need to do with each pillar is really important for us to now look at. And we got to lay out a plan for each one of them. So whether it's a daily plan, whether it's a weekly plan, a monthly plan, and a yearly and quarterly plan, all of these things have to be laid out and in a plan. Now, I'm not perfect. There are weeks in the year that I miss doing whatever, right? But just having that plan. One of the things we always talk about every year in my company about when we do our business plan in Alice in Wonderland, there is a time where Alice is with the Cheshire Cat, and the Cheshire Cat asks, there's a fork in the road. And the Cheshire Cat asks, where do you want to be? And Alice says, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'll go wherever. And the Cheshire Cat replies, oh, well, then it doesn't matter which route you take. So if you don't know what your goal is, your end goal is, it doesn't matter which way you go. If you want to do a post once every 2 months, that's up to you if you didn't have your goal. But we got our goals. We are going to lay out what needs to happen. So daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or quarterly. So here's some daily examples. Facebook activities. What could you do daily? So what if every Monday you posted pictures of you doing a tour around whatever new build home, model home? Easy. And I'm not saying you have to set aside time every Monday. Do it last Thursday, but just post it every Monday, right? This is the day that I do my tours, my model home tours. This is an idea that I loved, but a realtor out in Richardson is looking out, doing his search for the lowest priced home in whatever city and saying, this is the lowest priced home that I found in, let's say it's Forney. And I think like in Rowlett, because he was looking at Rowlett, there was one home in all of Rowlett that was listed under $250,000. And what he did is he took that home, and I helped him with it. So this is something I can help you with. He made what the mortgage payment would be if you bought it as an investor with 20% down, and what the rent comps look like of what you could potentially rent at, and posted that 2 pieces of information. Done. Now, what does that do? It just generates ideas and thoughts from people like, man, I really want to do that. I guess that guy's really great at it. Let me reach out to him. That could be something you do and post every Tuesday. The list report system that I sent you guys, it has daily posts every day that you could steal and use and post. So, and if you're in my list reports, that's in there ready to use. So daily active, that's an example. Checklist for leads, people you met. So follow up. So like you had 5 leads every day, right? That's 25 people last week that you need to do some sort of follow up with. That's a daily activity. Look busy. Post when contracts are received, clear to close, the closing day, you went to their inspection, whatever it is, because when people are looking at that, And you guys may or may have seen me do this with my behind the scenes. I call it behind the scenes, where I post when a contract's received. I post when we're clear to close. I post when the appraisal is received. No one has a clue that that's all one deal. No one has a clue. They're looking at it and they're like, man, Jennifer just had a contract yesterday. Now next week, oh, now she has one that just got their appraisal back. It's the same deal, but nobody has any clue. I look super dang busy on Facebook, right? And so I think that could be something else that you do, but these are daily activity examples.
Can I say something real quick on that, Jennifer, please?
Uh-huh.
I've got a friend of mine who has a strong marketing background, and he said that one of the things that they find is that oftentimes people are very intrigued with whatever kind of work that we do, whether it's insurance, real estate, or pizza. And he said that oftentimes the data shows that people are very intrigued when they see what, the making the sausage of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've often found that, talking about, I'm at the office working on a price analysis for a family that's thinking about selling their home. Maybe I'll put, a photo of some papers on my desk or whatever, but I've had people contact me about getting a market analysis because for whatever reason, whatever I put on that post, it intrigued them. So the work that we do, all the details, people are more interested in what we may think that they are.
You're right. You're right.
What's the 7-Eleven song? The 10, 2, and 4. That's the algorithm for Facebook, is what I've been told is the best times to post. Because that's when people will take a break and look through their Facebook, and boom, they'll see something. 10, 2, and 4 is what I've been told.
And what if you're at an inspection, and if you're showing a behind the scenes situation in y'all's work, what if you're at an inspection and there's something that the customer is really concerned about that's been found? Take a picture and post it. Nobody knows who's, if it's a leak or what, why not? You're not posting whose house it is, what the address is. You're not posting any details. You're just showing this is a leak that was found by my customer and we're really worried about it. Or a picture of a, discoloration in a ceiling. Bruce is right. People are so dang curious about these things and about houses. And then they want to give their input. And then, the sky's the limit on all these posts you could have.
If they weren't, they wouldn't watch all these remodeled TV shows, etc.
That's true.
Well, they can become that person. They can go out and buy those houses and become that person. So, you got to set the goal.
Okay, so let's go to weekly examples. Check in with clients who are on the fence. That's a weekly goal. Check in with clients in contract. Search on Facebook for something you can do for someone else. This is something that is my Thursday thing. I'm looking to see who's getting married, who's having a baby, whose dog died. I want to find something that I can do for someone else one day a week. So that's 52 things a year that I end up doing for someone else. This was super dang easy during COVID too. If I'd scroll through, somebody has COVID, I'd send them a box of snacks from Amazon. It was $12. I'd find out their address and send it. And that just, I don't know, that I love blending. I love blending the things that I love to do because there's nothing wrong with that. That's an amazing thing to put a smile on someone's face. But could it generate something? There's nothing wrong with that. 2 birds, 1 stone. Could it generate because their kid needs to buy a house that they remember? Oh, you got to call Jennifer. She's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing evil about that, right? Watch 1 Tom Ferry video a week. That's another weekly goal that you could have because that will generate more ideas for you than you could ever imagine if you did that. And that is another thing that's on my calendar. That's on Tuesdays. Watch 1 video a week from someone. And I've got a couple of business people that I follow that I just choose one, whether it's what are those things called? Not a blog, but the ones that you listen to, podcast. Choose something. And I do it in my car or whatever. Make 1 video to send to past clients and post on social media about a needed subject. Y'all know I do that a lot. 1 open house, yours or someone else's, to post about. So those are weekly examples. And and to me, I think it's important to lay it out. On Mondays, I'm going to do this. On Tuesdays, I'm going to do this. On Wednesdays, and set it in your calendar. And if you missed Wednesday and it's the next week, it's okay. Move on. Get your get back in gear with the goals. It doesn't mean that, oh, I've missed 2 weeks of this, I've got to do 3 of them now. Move on. Just keep with the goals. Monthly examples for last month's closing, databasing them, putting them in an Excel spreadsheet so that you've got them handy. Some people find that such a waste of time, and it is not, because you have got to have all that information so that you can continue to reach out to people. Find them on Facebook. Set for yearly follow-up anniversary calls or emails or messaging. Send email to all past clients. Home maintenance checklist. That's a monthly thing that I think is easy and great to do. So many websites have home maintenance checklists like Home Depot, Lowe's, Realtor.com. You just Google it. Visit a builder. Take a video. That could be a monthly example. Log receipts for marketing money spent. There's nothing worse than it being December and you haven't done any of that. So making that a monthly thing. Think that that's equally important too. Quarterly, yearly, plan holiday cards to past clients. Maybe have a magnet calendar to put in there. So this is in my calendar in October because I got to start planning it out. If I need to order calendars, it's in my calendar every October that I got to start figuring it out. I always make an update letter for the holiday cards I sent out. I write my letter by November. So just planning it out, if you want to do this, you got to plan it out early. Appreciation events for past clients. It's December. Why could you not, if you got your list of past clients and how to reach them, why could you not do a Easter egg hunt at a park, rent the pavilion? Those pavilions to rent are like $50. So easy. Have a Easter egg hunt with your past clients. And I'm finding that when I include that kids can come to something, that's where the most people show up, because they're always looking for things to do with their kids. So something that you can do with them, past client event, I will 1000% help out on something like that.
I got a weird question.
Yeah.
There was an advertisement last week. I have a very hard time getting people to hold open houses open. We have our go-tos that always volunteer, but new people volunteering or wanting to help with the open house is act of God. Okay. It's truly an act of God, which is really sad, but we've got our certain few that do. There was an open house advertised last week that had a food truck in front of it.
Huh.
Now, how are you going to pull that off? Is it just because the food truck is going to be in the neighborhood for the day to make a business?
I think they probably rented it.
Paying for the tacos or the hamburgers or whatever for the people that come?
I think they rented it. I don't think they based it on somebody being in the neighborhood. I'm sure that they probably got together a title company, an inspector, a this, a that, a lender, and everybody put their money together to have that food truck there for 2 hours.
I was like, goodness,
yeah.
For a food
truck.
But
the thing that I think is brilliant about that is it bringing in the neighbors. If it's a neighbor only situation, and this is something that I really want to also hone in on, because I'm having my marketing team make me yard signs that point towards where an open house is, but it's saying neighbor only. Because if the neighbors are coming to that open house, they're voyeuristic anyways, they want to see, but they may need to sell their house. And that is a big one. But having something like that would be cool. But I think there's much cheaper ways. I think that's a wow, but there's so many cheaper ways to do that.
Yeah.
And make it cool.
I think you could do hot dogs out on a cute little card table with your name across the table, and the kids down the street would come, which would promote the parents to come because they don't let them go out by themselves. Or a little Frito pie in a cup or whatever, I think you could do a lot of different things, but
you can.
I was like, okay, we got to rent a free food truck now.
People always up their ante for sure.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving pies. That's always been a big hit that I do every year, but that could be a yearly thing. And I start planning it again in October because I got to get my flyer ready. I need to plan which date I'm going to start posting this flyer and sending it to my past clients. I need to start collecting the RSVPs, what day I'm going to go shopping for the pies. All that is laid out. It gets super detailed because otherwise it doesn't get done and it becomes so chaotic. This year, 100 people RSVP'd for pies, 100. And I don't go deliver. I know a lot of people go deliver all the pies. There's no way I can't do all that. So I choose 2 different times. And this is the time you can come pick up your pie for me. I'm so excited to see you. And I've added things every year. Like this year, I bought little kid activities, like sticker activities on Amazon, and made sure and had them ready because there's always kids with their parents coming because they're out of school the week of Thanksgiving. And there's always kids. So I had something to hand them. But 100 people, there's no way I could deliver pies to 100 people. So, and the furthest, and you may think, oh, they're not going to come this far to me. The furthest person that came from their pie, Waxahachie to Mesquite.
Hmm.
And then at my Garland location, the furthest person was somebody who lives in DeSoto and came to Garland. Isn't that wild? That was
I will
wild.
say, Jennifer, that I really love the coffee bar. And Jay and I are probably going to use that at some point in the future for customer appreciation or even an open house, because something like that is just fun and different and unique. And I really love that. And I appreciated it as well. So
I try to keep adding stuff, but people are coming, right? I mean, it's so funny and it's so funny to see people. And I open these things up to the people I network with, because I think those are important, valuable resources for you too, to stay in front of their face and remind them constantly of what you do. Christmas gifts or birthday gifts for pillar of business and family. Right now, in the last several years, this year I had a Christmas party for the realtors I work with and colleagues. The Christmas gifts that I have been doing the last couple of years is I went to this is just an idea, the way I cheaply do it, crumble cookies. They have their 4-pack for like $11 or something. And so I lay out, I don't do it for everybody. I lay out the ones that are like my A list of people that I know that they were a big part of my business for the year. And I get my brother to get an elf costume. He has an elf costume and he goes out and delivers them all in an elf costume. I mean, that was like, and I pay him a little bit of money, Christmas money too. So, I mean, there's just so many ways you can do things that are like, that's so cool, but you didn't really spend that much money.
I'll just say that the Mesquite office has been a recipient of those cookies a few times, and they are incredible. The only problem I have is anytime my wife finds out, she comes by right after work and gets the ones that I like. So I always kind of get gypped on the deal, but they're incredible.
Awesome.
hey, Bruce, you need to let me know next time that they're at the office.
Of course, absolutely. I sure will. Put that on the messenger for y'all.
All right, I'm going to next slide. I think it's cool to set a crazy goal too. What is your crazy goal? You know, it could be a travel crazy goal. It could be a numbers crazy goal. I think a crazy goal is really important to also have laid out when you're making out that plan. But one of my biggest questions is, as you're making this, so I would say, because this is coming to the end of my presentation, but I would say pick a day this month where you can set aside half a day and lay this out and get raw and be honest with yourself. Because I think that if you are not honest with yourself on what you're doing and what you're lacking and what you need to do, what's the point? And lay out what you need to do. But when you're looking at that, I would love to hear what I can do with you guys that you are thinking, that sounds like a great idea. Jennifer could come help, whether it's monetarily, me just being there. I mean, some people ask me to be at their open houses. I'm just there, right? I'm not providing a food truck every time, right? Or anytime, but what can I do to help you guys? Because I want to be a part of it. I need business too, you guys. And so when you guys have a lead, have somebody that needs to get pre-qualified. I know I haven't been able to work with all of you guys. I would love to. I'd love the opportunity to. And while this month, I mean, you guys said it early on, this month is crazy. We got event on event on event on event. This month is crazy. Come January, I would love to meet with you guys if you would have me to individually, but I want to work with your clients. I'm wanting to grow my business as well. So just keep that in mind when you guys have clients that you need to talk to. But That is what I've got. And I know y'all will probably want to chat about this. I'm going to have to hop off here in a few minutes because I'm being inducted into the Mesquite Rodeo today, Rotary today. So I need to go to that.
I was a Mesquite Rotarian for 3 years, many years ago. It's a great organization. So
Cool.
does anybody have any questions? This was I don't know about y'all, but this was very, very good for me. And I picked up new things that I haven't gotten from Jennifer before. So each presentation is excellent. So any questions?
I just want to say thank you, Jennifer. That was wonderful. We always appreciate all you do.
Y'all are so welcome.
I need
And
to
a big
make an
hello to
appointment
Patrice. I
with
see
you for
Patrice is with
myself.
us.
Do it.
It was a great class. Great class. Very
Yeah,
well.
excellent class. So Kim, I want you to know, man of my word, I'm going to set time aside as well. Part of the time I'll set aside this month for goal setting. I will take more time to be intentional about working on my CRM. So I appreciate you holding me accountable.
I had to hold myself accountable. It wasn't the easiest thing, but they're so easy to work with. I mean, all you have to do is it's not easy to figure out how to get your list, but I can show you. I got the button down now. Get your list, send it to them, and they will load it for you by the next morning. Boom, it's done. Then you can go through and start filtering, but I try to do a piece of mine every week. Health is the number one thing that I'm working on this year. I am 95% sugar free. I'm going to try to make it through Christmas without a whole lot of it makes me feel bad. I'm that sugar free. It makes me feel bad to indulge in sugar now. So sugar free, I take a turmeric lemonade, makes all my aches and pains go away. I'm going to doctor visits, making sure I believe health number one. You can't do anything well unless your health is 100%. And as close to 100% as you can be. That's my number one goal for 2023. Numbers, I think we would be bold to say if we can keep our numbers where they are, maybe a slight increase, because we've got a challenging year coming ahead of us.
Agreed.
But this gives us time to focus on ourselves so then when it does surge and start getting busy again, we can roll. So health is my focus, happiness is my focus, peace is my hope, happiness. And if I hang up on somebody, it's because they stole my peace. And I will do it. That's that's the boldness I've got to. So, these goals setting I think she has some amazing ideas. I think I wish there were a whole lot more people. And I know some people are in closings this morning. So if we can get that shared, I think, Jennifer will see that you get promoted as best we possibly can.
Well, last thing I'll say, and then we'll close it out. First of all, thanks to all who are here today. Jennifer, thank you so much. You always do a tremendous job for us in multiple facets. I want to encourage all of us, now that we are out of the pandemic, there are still so many, including people in our business and some in our company, who are still pulling out of that mindset of isolationism. And that is not healthy. We are a people business. And we need to have more than just our clients in our sphere every day. We need to be communicating with each other more. I want to encourage all of us to include in our goal setting, being part of training more often, and not just our Choose Your Morning trainings, but team trainings and agents getting together for coffee or lunch. We really, really, really need each other. And so we're better. Jennifer's dad often says we're better together. And so we need to be together more because it makes a big difference on our health, on our mental health. We pick up new ideas from each other. We learn from each other. I learned some from Jay and Tricia this weekend on condos, like you talked about earlier, Jennifer. So let's be together more in 23 because it will help our businesses. It'll help us be happier people. So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing the baby on Facebook for Christmas.
Thank you. She'll be on. See y'all later.
You have a great
Very
week. Merry
good.
Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.